everybody. Theys, thems, beans, alikes. She's and hers. She's, hers, and good girls alike. Sorry about that. My mic is being a little bit weird today. Give me one sec. I need to fix something. Uh. Blah, 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 blah. Why the fuck is my microphone so shitty all the time? Mic is dog water. You need a fucking refill at this point, goddamn. Give me one sec. I don't like that my microphone's all the way lower. So I need to fix this up. Give me one sec. There we go. Much better, much better. Okay, hello there, everybody. Welcome in. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And if not, I hope I can make your day even better. But hello there, everybody. Good girls, good boys, theys, thems, beans alike. Today we're reacting to creepy Left 4 Dead analog series. Now, as someone who's actually played the game, but yeah, my system can't handle it. I am pretty sure you've seen the videos of me trying to play it while streaming. I am moving at 1 frame per second in that shit. But I actually enjoy the game. It's pretty fun. I mean, wouldn't play it on stream, but I do know that pretty sure if anyone was put in the Left 4 Dead, scenario where it's like, oh, they'd be like, I can survive this. You're not surviving that. It only takes one witch to wipe out one person. I'm not built for this. I'm a mercenary, but even I will not touch that. But anyway, let's get right into the video.
As someone who grew up in
Okay.
the early 2000s and had unrestricted access to the internet, I, much like many other
Mm,
people my age, discovered the wonderful world of
there we go. Sorry about that. It's a little
Valorant.
bit
My two
slow,
all-time
everyone.
favorites from back in the day were definitely Team Fortress 2 and Left 4 Dead. Though,
I remember
honestly,
playing
the
Team
game I had the
Fortress
biggest
2,
hyperfixation on was
although it was one of
definitely
my
Left 4
old
Dead. I swear to
friends.
God, for like a good 3 or 4
We used
years,
to be
this
good
game
friends
became
until he
every
abandoned me,
single
but
thought
eh.
inside my head other than Left 4
That's
Dead.
honestly
Like,
what got me
I
into
would
like
legit spend like
playing
entire
games
days
like
just
Left 4
watching content
Dead
and
and
funny moments of gang and
playing
Leroy Jenkins speedruns.
I
Oh,
forgot what
by the way, I
TF2
was like 9
and
years old at the
Gmod.
time. Like I said,
Yeah.
unrestricted internet access. So
Yeah,
obviously,
I
the
didn't
same
have
happiness
internet.
I felt when for my 11th birthday I got my first
I
ever
was a
laptop that was so
brokey.
terrible it ran Minecraft at like 5 frames per second.
I mean,
And
I got
of
a
course,
shitty
one of the
Apple
first things I did
computer.
on that laptop was download Left 4 Dead 2 off of Steam and play that game all day and night running at a crisp 12 frames per second. Ever since that one birthday, Left 4 Dead has truly secured its
I've
place as
always
one of
been
my
a
favorite
fan of
game
zombie
franchises of
games.
all time. As I got older, though, I gained a brand new appreciation for a whole new aspect of Left 4 Dead beyond the surface level enjoyment of mindless, gory fun while listening to Coach
I'm not
Randall
sure if anyone
and
remembers
Brendan
the
tell us his life
days
and
of
deep through
playing
sharing
the
great
Flash
stories of
games, like,
zombies and American
like
fun.
the
That aspect of
World of the
immersion was
Dead
cool,
games,
or
like,
I'm not exactly sure
those
when,
were
but there
probably
was a
some of the
point when
most
something
funnest
just
games I
really
played, I
captured the
think.
core of the games I played. It was
It's sad that
definitely
they
to learn
took
about the
down
main stories
Flash,
of
so
my
I could never
all-time favorite
play it.
games. And of course,
I would
when
have
it comes
loved
to
to
more
play it on
zombies and
stream or
gore, one of
something.
the first games I became really interested in was Left 4 Dead. See, on the surface, Left 4 Dead isn't really that deep of a game. You just play as four charming immune people who need to blast their way to their salvation while
Pretty
avoiding
true,
spooky mutated zombies. But when you
but
get
it
a
is
little more
not
realistic
that
gameplay,
easy.
everything about the
I got
game
my
gets
ass
well
rammed
more and more
into by a
disturbing.
tank.
Whether it's the question of what causes the mutations in the infected. By the way,
My
for anyone
friends
out there
left
who
me
isn't a
behind.
mutated employee of Left 4 Dead, I strongly
They
recommend you
escaped
check
the
out Left 4 Dead 2.
infection, but I was
That game is honestly
sacrificed.
a mutation
I will never
masterpiece and
forget that day.
really damn interesting. Or other things like the safe room graffiti providing some really unsettling environmental storytelling. The one thing about the Left 4 Dead
Hmm,
universe that's really unnerved me for the longest time, though, is where the hell is Sita?
true.
I mean, like, yeah, I get that they've
Like,
been overrun, but
Sita's
like,
supposed to
it
be
seems
like
really
the
off-putting to me that the only
military,
time you
right?
ever get to see living Sita agents is when they dish Left 4 Dead 2 survivors on a
Yeah.
rooftop. Throughout all of Left 4 Dead 2 and a little bit of Left 4 Dead 1, there's evidence all over the place of Sita having been there. We
I
never
only
get to
know a
see the
little
house
bit
as a
about the
hazmat site,
games. Like, I know
which,
that,
to
like,
me, the
the
curious thing is that Sita seems to be
characters
basically
are, like,
cursed on the game. They even
carriers,
have
where
like an
it's
entire
like,
chart dedicated to how
they're
often they
not
infect the mutated
infected, but
Sita
they
that have been
carry the
infesting the
infection or
population.
something like
Plus,
that.
the severe lack of any living persons being
I don't really
investigated gives
understand
the
how
game
that
players to
works, but
determine the lore behind
it
Sita by
works.
using environmental storytelling, including but not limited to safe room graffiti, map design, and character dialogue.
These ain't zombies.
Yeah.
Somebody's been shooting people. somebody. Christ, Coach, you know who did this.
There's two maps in Left 4 Dead 2 that I
I
really
feel like
enjoy.
there's not much lore for the game.
Funnily enough, these two maps also happen to be the two maps with the
Like,
most CETA involvement.
I would be happy if we added like a DLC where you play as like one of the CETA military guys.
What I find really curious is that all these locations just make me feel really uneasy.
Yeah.
There's just something really uncanny about these areas that should be full of CETA agents evacuating people being completely
It's just like
abandoned, with the only thing remaining are their equipment, dead bodies, and the infected. Now, this is usually the part of the video where I go on a long tangent about how this is the magic of the Source engine, about how limited
would make sense for them to get overrun in like a zombie apocalypse.
But I'm not, because I'm sure you've all heard this like a million times already. And also, that's not really what this video is about. No, this video is about something much spookier than some liminal space in a Source game where you feel like the spooky shadow monster from the Dark Room in GM Construct is lurking around. It's about something creepier than anything that can be expected in a Source game. This video is
I remember downloading like creepy pastas for like Gmod. Listen here, Colonel Sanders. If you're not paying for my food, then don't put advertisements in my face. You either pay for my food or you pay for my time. Because you can only have one.
This Analog Horror series by complete chance. It all started when I was eating lunch watching Calvin's Minecraft from the Fog playthrough.
I remember those. Remember like the Minecraft horror mods.
So, of course, with Left 4 Dead on my mind,
yeah, I'm never playing a Minecraft horror mod. Not because I'm scared, but because, yeah, my system is not built for that. It would die the moment I start streaming Minecraft or recording it. My potato computer can barely handle running at like 3 or like 12 or 30 FPS. What do you think will happen when I start streaming with it? Oh, that's not disturbing. Why does that look like... I forgot what his name was. The one that's like always wearing the fancy suit. Nick, yeah. It looks like Nick, but wearing a military outfit. I feel like the one thing people forget about in the zombie apocalypse is that it looks fun until you get bit by a zombie hiding in the dark. Like shit, the forest is gonna be the worst place for you to travel. Imagine traveling at night and you get tackled by a zombie. One thing I feel like if I'm going in a group is that if like one of our friends gets insane, like, no, we can't leave them behind, Rem. They're still my friend. Bitch, fuck them. They're already infected. I ain't doing this shit. Leave them behind. What do I look like? Hell no.
Admittedly, the other thing I love about Analog Horror is just how fucking corny it is sometimes.
Listen, I like my humans with skin. Thank you very much.
It's the Mandela Catalog. Aside from the fact that some of the moments from it are like really fucking off-putting, there's also...
You ever ate the chicken without the... I forgot what it was. The Chris.
How about 500 a night?
Oh, hell yeah! Anyways, I'm going a bit...
Nah, make it 10,000. I ain't staying in the fucking Mandela Catalog place. Listen, I'm a mercenary, but at the same time, that just seems like a pain in the ass to deal with. You can't shoot it, you can't stab it, and all it does is just stare at you and try to break your mind. Like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get rid of it now? Do I just like throw holy water at it or something and hope that leaves me alone? As someone who's killed a lot of eldritch monsters, gods, corrupt humans... Yeah, no, I'm... Oh, fuck no! Joke's on you, I'm already subscribed!
Seriously though, please subscribe, it helps me out a lot. Anyways, enjoy.
Nah, don't worry. Hey, but shout out to this person right here. Hold up, give me a sec. Let me grab their channel. Hold up. I am terrible at pronouncing names, so if this person is watching the video, I am so sorry if I butcher your name or anything. Uh, Fuck, my dyslexia kicked in, but shout out to this person right here that made this video. You're amazing, keep it up, and goddamn, this shit's good. I would say goonable material, but I don't like gooning to Eldritch monsters. Unless they look cute enough, then yeah, maybe.
The Sita Analog Horror Series takes place from the perspective
Don't
of
mind me if I say
military,
anything unhinged.
and a couple
Might be a bit
non-stereotypical
sleep
organizations.
deprived.
Now, before we actually get into the tapes, I need to give you all a quick rundown on the important lore of the Left 4 Dead universe. Just cause I'm going to skip over a few sections in these tapes as they're a bit redundant if you're already familiar with the lore of Left 4 Dead and the Green Flu. Okay,
I mean, I know some of it.
Started off initially as just some run-of-the-mill illness that gave people flu-like symptoms, but strangely enough, it mutates extremely randomly and drastically. To the point where one day it's pretty much just a flu, whereas the next day it's causing people
I
to
forgot what the
experience
virus
symptoms like
was, like the one that
What makes
mutates.
this disease so worrisome, though, is that not only do the symptoms change, but the means of transmission also change randomly. Where one day,
Oh hell no, that's even worse.
let's say a bite, whereas the next day it's totally airborne. As if the infection
Like, you gotta be prepared for everything at that point. You gotta cover your face, your eyes, your mouth, you get bit.
For example, if you're someone who enjoyed a barbecue bacon burger on the daily, chances are you'd probably mutate into a boomer. Whereas if you're someone who really enjoyed parkour and free running, you'd probably mutate into a hunter. Or if you fucking gooned a lot, you'd become a charger.
Let's go! Me and my fellow gooners will become a charger.
Within just a span of 2 weeks. Likely starting with someone around the northeastern region near Fairfield, and by the second week, New Orleans was the last staying city on the East Coast. Now, there is an exception to people getting infected, and that's the carriers. Carriers such as our 8 charming protagonists and that one doctor from the comics and maybe Zoe's dad are all asymptomatic to the green flu. Notice how I said they're asymptomatic and not immune? See, despite being 100 million billion% infected, seeing as how these survivors have been bitten, beaten, bled on, and countless times,
at that point, I'm pretty sure you're infected.
However,
like, there is no way you're not infected.
Transmit the green flu to other people, most notably those who don't have the genes to be a carrier like our protagonists. This is why our protagonists keep ending up in new places whenever they get rescued. It's because
that makes sense.
The rescuers who aren't immune. Well, maybe with the exception of the News Chopper 5 pilot. I think he was infected beforehand.
Yeah,
so,
pretty fair.
I guess the TLDR, the green flu mutates really fast and randomly. The East Coast collapses within 2 weeks, starting with Fairfield and ending in New Orleans, and some people are asymptomatic but not immune to the green flu. So, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to watching the tapes. The first installment in this series is titled Safe Room, which is an educational video on how to set up a safe room. While writing the script, I was going to mention that this episode has a cheap-ass jump scare. However, the creator actually remastered it, and there isn't a cheap jump scare anymore, which I greatly appreciate, because it scared the ever-living shit out of me when I first saw it.
Please don't. Oh god. Not the old man. Get out of here! Get out of here! I don't care! I don't care, Microsoft. Stop feeding me your garbage. Oh hell no, it's that old ass lady again. God damn it.
So, without further ado, let's play the first video in the series. This tape starts off as an informational video about making a proper safe room, explaining what Sita provided in the safe room starter kit. Though, the one thing they won't provide is bedding.
You're providing...
Suddenly, for spooky effect,
what? You guys are that cheap you can't afford to give me like a sleeping bag or, you know, a dusty old mattress? Like shit, give me something. Don't make me sleep on the hardwood floor.
Stick figures shown briefly. This will become relevant later. Then it goes back to the instructional video and provides a safety checklist for your safe room. Now, the first 2 are fairly reasonable, but then it pulls a total cliche, and for number 3, it tells you to make sure that there's no silly little scrimblos staring at you from the shadows. It then
the fuck the scrimbler?
Over what a compromised safe room looks like. Also, this is a safe room blood harvest between chapters 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
I just thought that was a neat little detail to point out. According to this tape, the first reason why the safe room is compromised is because there are weapons in the safe room, and in this convoluted ass timeline, it's considered illegal to shoot the infected. Also, this line here
fuck this illegal shit. I'm gonna start blasting on them. I'm gonna start spraying them down.
Uh-oh. Now, contrary to popular belief, I actually think rats aren't the cause of the clanging. The third reason why
Yeah.
the safe room is compromised is because of the starer in the room.
Fuck's a starer.
What? Holy shit, the starer is staring. We then see this old person who's
Oh, hell no.
transformed into a super disfigured face.
Grandma,
Based on
take
how
your
we
meds
were
again.
first told about the
God
starer,
damn
we
it, Grandma,
think this
take your
person is
schizophrenic
completely
medication.
but let's keep
We've
watching.
been over this so
Next,
many
the audio report
times.
combined a
Take
so
your
many
damn
scenarios
meds.
of starer.
You're scaring the
What's notable
children.
about the stare is that half of its body and face is distorted with a glowing eye, which both confirms that the old person is in fact the starer, but it also shows that the melty stick figure is supposed to be a stare. The other notable details are that it stalks non-infected people, and strangely enough, it can sometimes leave on its own accord without attacking, even if it gets spotted. However,
You see,
if it
this
is
is why you
hostile,
gotta put.
super
That's why I
brutal,
had to put my
hostile in
grandma
appearance,
back in the elderly
81%
home.
mortality rate.
Over here
The
staring
really
at the
alarming
neighbors.
detail about, though, is that they have high intelligence and also have a social structure. There
Oh,
is
God, no.
one cryptic detail that's in
She's
this recording, and
intelligent.
that's how
My
it
one
mentions
weakness.
that other
Enemies that
detail.
have
After that,
brains.
we reach the end of the tape. Man, for the first episode of this analog horror series, there was a shit ton of info that was dropped on us, so let's summarize the important info we got from this. In this alternate timeline, we learned that Cedo is providing people with care packages to construct the various safe rooms found throughout the Left 4
Cheap
Dead
bastards
series,
not giving
which
me a
includes
bed.
instructional VHS tapes. Wait, why are they sending people VHS tapes? Doesn't Left 4 Dead take place in 2009? Okay, nitpickings aside, the
I mean,
important
I thought
detail
it
is that
took.
this
I thought
timeline
it took
does not
place in
cover
like.
special infected.
I
That
don't know,
being
like
said,
something
so far,
like
we don't really know much about it,
2016
aside from
or
the description of
something.
what it looks like,
I
what
don't
it
really
does, and how
know.
dangerous it is. Also,
I mean, I thought
can't
it was
write this
older
series
with like the
compromised safe room scenes, I
shotguns
just
and
couldn't see
everything
anything
else.
that resembled a stare in any of these shots whatsoever.
Yeah.
But maybe the next tape will give us some more insight on the stare in this alternate timeline of
I mean,
Left 4
you
Dead.
could
So,
light up the
let's move
dark
on to the next
area
tape,
just in
that being the
case.
Vanna. Oh, by the way, these next couple tapes may seem a bit rough around the edges, and that's because these are the oldest episodes that haven't been remastered yet, so just a quick heads up about that. This tape starts off with a TV recording of a couple weather reports in Savannah, and also gives us a bit of a time frame of things in the series, and also provides some world building. The second weather report is pretty normal, though the text at the bottom mentions a new pathogen that is discovered, and people are surprisingly pretty unconcerned about it. The weather report then switches to an ad for
Yeah,
Vanna.
I mean,
Holy shit, it's high-res Jimmy Gibbs.
to be
After
fair,
the
this
ad,
just
the
reminds me of
recording
the
show switches to a
whole
scene of
COVID
tapes showcasing
event,
the Vanna Hotel before
where
the
it's like
outbreak,
no one
and
was
showing recovered
panicking
footage
about
of the
it.
remains of the hotel, which shows an
Then
elevator
it's
for
like
some
the
reason.
people
We
are
then get a
saying like the
countdown, and holy
vaccines
shit,
made
Kendall
it
jump
worse
scare.
because there was like, oh fuck, oh my hair.
Jesus fucking Christ, wait, the candle actually jump scared me. It then shows Savannah on fire.
Yeah,
The tape
I
then
don't do
switches
well
to an
with jump
informational
scares.
video from Sita talking
Listen,
about vaccination protocols, details about the green
my
flu,
only
and time
response
frame
to
when the
jump
green flu
scares
reached
is to
Georgia.
punch
We
the
also
thing in
learned
front
about
of
there
me,
being
which
type
would be
1
my
immunity,
computer,
so that raises the question
which
of what other types of
I
immunity
would
are there.
rather
We then see a
not
near
slam my
reality
fist
shot
into my
of tunnels,
computer.
and the recording fades to black where there's someone narrating through text on the screen. I'm not really sure who this person is, but
It
I'm just
doesn't
gonna
really
assume
help that I'm
it's someone
sitting in
from
a
Sita.
dark
We then
room
see
with
before
no
and after
lights.
photos of the evac centers at the Vanna and Liberty Mall. Though, most importantly, we get to know where the present date is in this timeline, which is 6 years after the initial outbreak in 2009. This unknown narrator provides some interesting details about how the infected have been mostly cleared out of Savannah at this point. Notably, though, the narrator mentions how despite the city being mostly cleared, they still get the feeling of being watched. We also get a URL in the captions, which ends up taking us to a video titled Vanna Hotel Ground Floor, though this video is pretty unremarkable and doesn't really have much going on in it. I tried brightening some of the scenes in it, but I just couldn't see a single thing. But who knows, maybe there's something lurking around that I missed. So I guess that wraps up the Vanna tape.
I mean,
Honestly, I
could
was
be
hoping for
something
more
behind the
details about the
box.
stare, though it is great that we get some world building and some dates that give us a bit of a time frame on the events in the series. This tape does leave me
Honestly,
with
I
a few
mean,
questions, though.
imagine
First
a
of which is, what is
starer
type 1
being
immunity?
in the
Does this
game.
mean there's type 1 immunity
Like,
which
let's
causes people to
say
become
you're
infected
playing Love
and
for
then become
Dead and you
immunity
just
to
see
these
an
people
enemy
carriers,
watching
or
you
does
from
it
the
mean there's different
distance.
types of immunity that goes beyond being a carrier? The second question is, who is this unknown narrator? Hopefully we'll find out later. The
It
third
was
question
me.
is, why is
I'm the
Savannah being cleared out
narrator.
6 years after the initial
And
outbreak?
the
This
camera.
also raises another
And the
question,
camera
which is,
woman, I
how
guess.
far did the infection reach? Did it spread throughout the entire
Can't really
world,
call
or did it
myself a
stay confined to the
cameraman.
eastern United States? Maybe we'll find an answer to these questions in a later video, so let's move on to the next tape, that being Liberty Mall. Unlike the previous two tapes, this tape is found footage, which was found in the current time, which is April 15th, 2015, which is also the most recent of the dates we've been given so far. In this footage, we discovered body cam footage of two soldiers named David and Xavier, who go off their patrol route to go explore Liberty Mall, despite Xavier's unease towards the whole idea of exploring the mall, especially since it hasn't been cleared yet. We also get confirmation that the green flu ended up spreading throughout the entirety of the United States, and that seems like it didn't spread to other countries, or at the very least,
Pretty sure I wouldn't want to go exploring
now,
either.
there isn't really much of note throughout the part of the footage where the duo wanders around the outside of the mall or when they enter the mall. There is a chance there's something lurking in the dark inside the mall, but I honestly can't be bothered to go frame by frame brightening up the
that's
background
just a
to try to
pain
find
in the
anything dark,
ass.
but if there is something there, please do let me know in the comments. After some more exploring and Xavier yapping about his unease, the duo ended up stumbling upon something redacted from both the text as well as the footage. This redacted thing ended up attacking and killing both David and Xavier, where David was almost completely devoured by this redacted infected, and Xavier was left to bleed to death. During the audio of Xavier surviving the attack, we see two things: the face of the stair fade on the screen, and another URL in the captions. Right before the tape ends,
Yeah, I feel like the stair would probably be a lot more of a creepier enemy.
Takes us to a private video. However, the first URL ends up taking us to a video titled Uncensored Aftermath. Now, as much as I'd love to show you what's in this video, I really don't know if YouTube would love me showing you guys, since there's quite a lot of blood. Basically, a recovery team finds
I do
David
know
and Xavier's bodies
YouTube
following
is
the
like
attack,
not a
or
big fan
rather,
of gore.
Xavier's body and David's
I mean,
bloody
you
partial
could
skeleton.
probably get
It's
away
revealed
with
that
it
the
if you
redacted
could
infected was
change
so
the gore
brutal in
to
its attack that it ate some of David's bones
like how they
and
do it in
also obliterated
Danganronpa.
Xavier's torso under
It's
his
like
armor.
it's less
As the
violent
soldiers are
and
inspecting the
gory.
bodies, they hear a noise and realize they aren't alone. We get given another dark scene that I tried to brighten, but
Yeah, you gotta do the whole
Japanese
Japanese censorship just to even get around it.
Infected nearby, the soldiers managed to recover the bodies, and the tape ends
Fun
with the
fact,
multi-stick figures
Danganronpa
watching
originally had red
Okay,
blood
so I think it's pretty
before they were
obvious at
forced to
this point
change
what
it
the
for the
hell is happening
national
with Xavier
change
here. It was
because
totally
apparently
a
it's
stare,
too
what with the
violent and
multi-stick figure at the end of
aggressive.
the uncensored aftermath and the face fading on screen while the audio
I
is
mean,
playing
even
as
though
Xavier
we've
dies.
seen a
This
lot
tape
more
also confirms
violent
that
and
despite how
aggressive
infectious the
things.
green flu is, it managed to
Shit,
stay confined to
take
the United
Doom for an
States at the very
example.
least, which is kind of
We
refreshing
got
to know.
guts and body parts
Aside from
flying
that, though,
around.
there really isn't much more
I don't
info
get why
left given
people
in
be
this tape,
getting angry
so
over
let's
it.
move on to... Wait a minute. As I was double checking the uncensored aftermath video, I decided to check the description because I forgot, and I found this Google Doc, which turns out to be an incident report. Now, this is a report written by Sergeant Erickson Dunkold, who writes that the duo ditched their patrols to explore the mall and were attacked by what definitely sounds like a stare. This document also explains that the military is trying to now exterminate all the infected from the United States. Concerningly, though, the report also says to keep an eye out for other mutations, which may imply that the stare isn't the only new special infected we will encounter in the series.
We could
Something
probably
else
have
that's pretty
like
concerning
more
is that the
like
sergeant
muscular
questions if there
ones.
are more of the stairs deeper in the mall, which, if we're following horror logic, means that there are almost definitely more in the mall. The only question
Oh yeah,
is,
no.
how many more are there?
I wouldn't be surprised if
Now
there's
we've
like
gone
a
over everything this
colony
tape
in
has
there
to
or
offer. So
something.
now let's move on to the next tape, Trainee. Alright, well first and foremost, we know there aren't any secrets hidden in the captions this time since captions are auto-generated for this video. This tape starts off as being a training video for CEDA agents, though weirdly at the beginning with the disclaimer in the bottom left, text flashes on screen saying, "We can't let them know." But then that raises a question of who don't they want knowing?
That just
Why
sounds
don't
like
they
the
want them
military.
Now, this beginning section of the tape doesn't really have
Good
much
old
info of note.
apocalypse
It's mostly just
military,
sidelines of
useless
CEDA
in
agents
every
working the
way.
Viral Health Task Force. However, this section does provide info on where the first reported case of the green flu was recorded, which was in an office building in Fairfield, Pennsylvania. Because of the infectiousness of the green flu, everyone in this office building became infected and the entire office was quarantined. We also learned that because of the infectiousness of the green flu, CEDA has quarantined Patient Zero's family and has been contact tracing Patient Zero. Suddenly, the screen starts flashing a CEDA map, specifically the one seen dead center, which shows the spread of the green flu throughout the US. This could be used to show that CEDA's efforts were futile, or maybe it was just to show how devastating the green flu is. I'm honestly not really sure. The tape then goes to a black screen with the text spread on it, with the sounds of screaming fading in. It then goes back to the train tape with scrambled text on screen being shown briefly. I, for the life of me, just could not figure out how to decipher this text or if it's even decipherable, but please let me know in the comments down below if you know what the text here says. This section of the tape explains that Mercy Hospital is the largest CEDA center in the area and will be the only evac center in Fairfield. Right before getting into the evac protocols, some footage of a clean hallway slowly fades to what the hallway looks like currently. The tape then switches scenes and text briefly flashes on screen saying it was too fast for us to do anything. The text ends up being dialogue from an unknown narrator who I'm assuming is a CEDA agent who recounts the horrors of the green flu, and holy shit, it says Left 4 Dead. Alright, roll credits.
Yeah, Valorant, disgusting. But in all honesty, I just don't like playing the game. Ugh. Just playing competitive games just ain't my thing. I like doing my own thing, you know.
The narrator does reveal that the US is currently a wasteland and that nobody knows what they were getting into by going back. The screen then changes to a black background saying epidemic, and then static plays with what I think is text amongst the static, but I have no clue what it says or what it means. After the static, we hear the evacuation protocols New Orleans, which, as we know in the game universe, was one of the last standing cities in the US on the East Coast, which means this probably was decently far into the initial outbreak, which also means that the evac protocols were significantly stricter than at the start of the outbreak. This is confirmed by how often CEDA agents are authorized to use lethal force on anyone that breaks evacuation protocols. We're then shown a pile of bodies which I assume are in the designated infected area where they're executed, and one of the bodies seems to wake up and look somewhat akin to what the stare looks like. The tape switches scenes again with text on screen from an unknown narrator who describes the bombing of New Orleans, and that the military and CEDA's efforts were futile. Curiously, this dialogue seems to imply that this narrator is an infected. Does this mean that the infected are still sentient? Let's go back to this later. After this dialogue, the tape ends. So, this tape doesn't really answer any of the questions regarding things like the stare yet, as this tape was more along the lines of a world building tape. However, there was one part that did stand out to me, and that's the corpse that woke up. See, that body is like 100% a stare. But then that raises some questions. Is a stare hiding amongst bodies? Or an even more concerning question,
Oh,
do
that
come back from the dead?
that is even worse of those things that come back from the dead. It's like the reanimates, or no, not the reanimates. What it was. That one enemy from Resident Evil 4, like the Spike guy, the Iron Maiden, yeah, that one. Where it's like, if you don't shoot in specific areas, it regenerates. Or was it the regenerator? I don't really know.
Let's move on to the next tape.
It's even worse.
So this tape is much different compared to all the other tapes up to this point.
Like, imagine you're relaxing, you end up taking a regenerator down, and you just hear the sound of it regenerating from the distance. Yeah, at that point you might as well just give up. You might as well just take yourself out.
Not so sure yet. The first POI is labeled a potential safe room, and it turns out to be the rooftop of the apartments in No Mercy, though there really isn't much of note here. The second POI is surprisingly concerning, and that's a failed safe room. See, what makes this so concerning is that, according to this tape, the safe room was clearly recently in use, as the items in the safe room were recently used and the body is relatively fresh. Now, what makes this so concerning is that we already know that the safe room doors are very sturdy, to the point where even a tank can't break it down.
True.
But something very clearly has knocked the door down, and since this tape is probably around modern times in the universe, that means an infected stronger than a tank has evolved. Now, I don't think a stare is capable of breaking down a safe room door, so that might mean there's
imagine having to face a clicker.
But I guess we won't know until a later point in the story. Anyways, in cliche horror fashion, the third POI is something spooky, that being the Whisperer.
What the fuck's a Whisperer? Oh, hell nah. Like, can we get out of my face, Valorant? Please stop. I don't want to have a Valorant duo. I don't like touching the game. It scares me. Oh, hell nah. Yeah, no. Oh, that is even worse. It's like, I forgot what it was. There was like one enemy in the game where it will imitate voices.
Oh, hell no. Is that an infected that can speak?
No,
yeah, so
please.
We're now introduced to another new infected.
If I see this in the game, I'm taking myself out. I am going to jump out of the second story window at that point.
The description says that they devour the meat of the prey they kill.
If it can talk, then yeah.
Which means the stare is another rare instance of an infected that does this. Also, apparently, this infected has the ability to jump scare you, seeing as how this asshole totally got me at the end of this tape. Fuck you! Total side note, but unlike the jump scare in the original iteration of the safe room tape, this jump scare was so much better because it didn't feel cheap like the first one. It somehow managed to scare the fuck out of me, even though you could hear the footsteps seconds before the jump scare even happened. It felt a lot like that one jump scare from the first Mandela catalog. You know the one The one where the face is on the screen with the heavy breathing? Anyways, after the jump scare, the tape ends. So, as I suspected, there's more new infected outside just a stare, which raised the question of how many more new special infected types are out there. There has to be, at the very bare minimum, one
more
more new
but
special
shit.
infected out there, since there's no way in hell a stare or whisperer knocked down the safe room door. How am I sure a whisperer didn't do it?
What
Well,
if it was
also according
two?
to the description, a
What if it
whisperer is
was
almost identical physically to a common
Whisper
infected. Maybe we'll find
and
out what caused the destruction of the
Stare
safe room in a
both
later tape,
tackling
so
a
let's
door?
move on to the next tape, Better Safe Than Sorry, which I'd also
Two
like to
people
quickly
could
mention
probably
is the tape
knock
that led me
down the
down this
door.
rabbit
I
hole that's this
mean,
analog horror
it's
series.
sturdy,
So
but
this
not
tape starts off with a
ridiculously
very
sturdy.
brief, like 1 second long shot of a description of what the stare looks like and does. Now, most of the info here is stuff that we already are well aware of. However, this file section provides some pretty fucking alarming information. Specifically, it says that they're found in packs of anywhere from 4
Yeah,
to
no,
fucking 30.
that makes it
30.
even more
That means these
dangerous.
scary ass bastards are smarter than the average infected. That's not the only alarming piece of information on this list, though. It also mentions that they aren't as intelligent as the other infected on this list. That implies that there are 1,000,000% more new special infected that we haven't even
Oh yeah,
seen
no.
yet that are smarter than the stare.
If a
And
zombie
I'm
is smart
betting
enough to
are
open the
also smarter than
door,
the whisperer,
yeah,
too.
no, I
Most of
give
the
up.
rest of this tape just consists of the church guy rambling in what I'm assuming is what he sees as he's slowly losing his mind due to the infection. We then cut to a shot of a dead infected priest. Now, the first time I watched this, I thought this was a dead stare because of how disfigured it is, but actually, based on the captions, this is almost definitely a dead smoker, as the captions give a description of the smoker. The only curious thing about this description is that the smoker is only a 6 out of 10 on the special infected scale, which means that the stare and whisperer are both 4 levels higher than the smoker. This then has me wondering which infected are in between the smoker and stare or the whisperer, so then I can have a better understanding of how dangerous these two new infected are. Anyways, outside that smoker description, that brief description of the stare, there's not really much else here, so let's move on to the next tape, Authorized. This tape starts off with a warning telling us that this tape is only for the eyes of members of CEDA and the US government. Well, I'm neither a
Joke's on
CEDA
you,
agent
I'm a
nor a member of the US
mercenary.
government, so let's just hope
I'm
I don't
good
get in
at
trouble.
stealing
The scene then
stuff.
suddenly changes to a CEDA agent, where the captions have dialogue from an interview where Ellis recounts the events of Hard Rain and provides some insight on the witch. The scene then switches to shots of the Vanna Hotel, and the captions are an interview with who I'm assuming is Coach, which I'm basing purely off of the food expert remark he makes. Before the scene changes again, we see the interior of the elevator again. I still just have no
I will
clue what
be
the hell
right
the
back.
significance of
I'm
this
gonna go
elevator
get some
is,
water.
since it's also focused upon so much in the Vanna tape, so if any of you can figure it out, please do let me know. Anyways, after the elevator, we then get an interview with who I'm assuming is Rochelle, and that's purely based upon some info given later in this tape. At the end of this interview, text appears on screen that says New Orleans, and we hear what I'm assuming is the military's instructions to neutralize threats in New Orleans. The disturbing thing about these instructions is that they're instructed to kill all infected and non-humans and animals, and most notably, carriers. After providing already known info on what a carrier is, we then see a shot of some bodies with, in my opinion, one of the most chilling dialogues in the game between Coach and Nick.
These ain't zombies. Somebody's been shooting people.
Somebody. Christ, Coach, you know who did that.
Afterwards, we then get a summary of what happened right after the survivors escape in the parish, and we also get to see a photo of each survivor with their names and a note about them in the captions. Also, holy shit, Coach name reveal. Even though most of these notes were pretty non-noteworthy, the note for Nick is why I'm assuming he wasn't the third interviewee. Sadly though, as the name of this tape implies, the military were authorized to execute all 4 of them. However, CEDA thankfully stepped in last second to take the carriers off the military's hands. The dialogue from this unknown soldier also
Alright, I'm
mentions
back,
how he doesn't really
everyone.
care what happens to the survivors as long as it's not in any continental body, so that the green flu doesn't spread outside the US. This heavily implies that the green flu somehow managed to stay completely isolated to the US, or at most, the Americas. Now, unlike the past couple tapes, we actually do
I
get
mean,
another
I'm
URL in the captions,
surprised.
which takes us to a video titled West Bank.
I would think
Now,
America
although
would be the
this tape is
first one to
non-noteworthy,
fall.
as it's just dialogue between Rescue 7, Pop Gator, and the survivors, which I'd also like to mention has one of my favorite lines in the entire Left 4 Dead series ever.
Have you encountered the infected?
Yes.
Encountered? Boy, I am covered in zombie blood, puke, eyeballs, and 20 other parts I don't even recognize. We are immune as shit.
The description is a real juicy part of this video, where it lists all 4 of the survivors, and it seems like it's also listing off each of their current jobs. Now, 2 of their jobs seem pretty straightforward, however, the other 2 seem a bit vague to me. The first of the straightforward ones is Coach, who's responsible for training new recruits in Switzerland. Well, so much for keeping them away from any continental bodies outside the US. Rochelle is responsible for clearing out Witch Hive in Milltown, Mississippi, which I can only assume is the sugar mill from Hard Rain. Though it is a bit surprising that this hive hasn't been cleared yet, despite being 6 years and L's already spilling the beans on it during his interview 6 years ago. Now for the 2 vague jobs. Nick's job is just listed as Sebastian Kingsman in Fairfield. At first, I thought this was a code name, but after watching through the entire series, I don't think so anymore. But it's still a bit cryptic even when we do find out more about the Sebastian Kingsman. Lastly, we have Elsa's job, which is just listed as Recovering Encounter in Riverside. I interpret this as being one of 2 things. Either he's recovering from something or someone in Riverside, or he's recovering from something he encountered in Riverside. If he's recovering from something, then that has me wondering what he's recovering from. Was it a starer, or is it something worse? Or was it just a run-of-the-mill special infected that we're well aware of, like a tank or something like that? Now, if it's he's recovering something from Riverside, then that has me wondering what is it that he's recovering. Is he recovering an infected for study, or is he recovering a carrier that was spotted there? So many questions and so little answers. Also, Nick, Rochelle, and Elsa's jobs say that they're in the New World, and Coach's is in the Old World. So does that mean the New World is the US and the places where there's no green flu is the Old World? Honestly,
I mean, probably.
Holy crap,
It
that
makes
was a
sense.
surprisingly low take.
New World
Look at
would
the
be
4 lines of
something like
text in the description
without
of
the
West Bank.
zombies.
It
That only
raises
makes
so
sense,
many
right?
questions. Also, I think it's so cool that we finally get to know what happened to our 4 charming protagonists from Left 4 Dead 2 after the parish, even if it isn't canon. It's canon to me, goddammit. Anyways, let's move
Yeah,
on
it's
to the next
canon
tape,
to
that
us.
one being Summary. As this tape's name suggests, we start this tape off with a summary of the Liberty Mall incident with David and Xavier. If I'm gonna be totally honest, this tape is just a whole lot of code
I
for
mean,
whoever's
this is
writing
pretty
this. The most
creepy, but
notable
not
aspect of this
bad.
summary is that it says the infected were
Kinda
sent to the
reminds
Old
me
World,
of
which leads us to
the
believe that the old
old
motherfucker in the
infected
Safer video
AUs that
might be
used
the
to
starer
appear.
that attacked David and Xavier. Speaking of which, the scene
Well,
that
you
sees
know,
them in
the
the safe room
ones
is
that
the
like
safe room tape, which zooms
originally
in where the
appeared,
starer
where
was
it's like
hiding the whole
the
time. Now, again, I
crowd
tried
that
brightening the
was.
shot, but I just
I
for
think
the
the
life of me
first
cannot
one
see
I
any
actually
starer in this
encountered
footage.
was
Maybe it's an
the
oversight by the creator, or
troll
maybe I'm blind.
one.
Who knows? Also, fuck you, that jump scared me. The scene then changes to body
Yeah.
cam footage from the Liberty Mall tape, with someone narrating over the footage, who I'm assuming was also narrating over the safe room tape. Also, again, I tried brightening the freeze frame here, but I just can't see a damn thing here. Disturbingly, this tape states that a group of 20 soldiers were sent into the mall, and that only 3 made it out.
Damn.
We're then shown new body cam footage from one of the 20 soldiers, who discovers another starer that was not the one that attacked David and Xavier. Once again, I tried brightening the screen here, but I seriously just can't see anything at all. Now,
I mean,
it
it's
turns
the
out that
old
those
vintage
unfortunate 20
tape filter
soldiers
that's
end up
like
discovering
fucking it
that there
up.
was a whole ass
Pretty sure
colony
without
of
it, you can
starers in
actually
the mall.
see pretty
You know,
well.
one of those colonies that can be as big as 30 starers.
Oh,
We're then shown the
no.
most 144p ass image ever of the stair that they came across, with one of the 3 survivors of the attack yapping alongside the image. Although there isn't much to note here, the survivor says that there's only 59 of them left, which is honestly pretty shocking. I'd really have thought that there'd be more soldiers than that. Other than that, there's
Yeah.
not really anything that crazy.
I
or
mean, at
notable
least
to
said
see.
like
So
50 or
let's move on to the
40.
next tape, that one being titled Green Flu.
You at least
This
got a
tape is
better
little
chance
different
of
than the
like
other
having
ones,
a
as
full
even though this
army.
tape is technically an official see the tape, it's actually from the perspective of someone watching the tape based off the captions. This tape is an informational tape made by CETA all about the green flu. Curiously though, the narrator in the captions seems like they're looking for something in this tape. Now, this tape for the most part just seems to be made purely for world building, where it describes what the green flu is and where it started. Though once this tape reaches a section talking about the stages of infection, the narrator reveals that they're likely infected or maybe in the late stages of the infection. This is confirmed when the tape goes over the aggressive stage and the narrator starts coping like crazy, though this cope ends pretty quick. During this person's monologuing, it seems like the green flu may be some type of rabies, as they're suffering from hydrophobia, which is a symptom of rabies. The narrator then reveals that they have a gun and we're given a choice. We can either choose for this guy to game end himself or not to game end himself. Let's first see what happens when we pick the more reasonable of the 2 options and have him pull the trigger. This goes pretty much exactly like how you'd expect it to go. However, at the end of this video, there's another end screen for us to click, which leads us to another video titled Reassign. This tape discusses reassignment to the city of Newburgh, the burning city and dead air. According to the tape, when the military and/or SETA resumed Operation Extermination, Newburgh ended up being a very unique city in the sense that Newburgh may be full of carriers and special infected. We also learn why this tape is called Reassign, as this tape is specifically about reassigning Nick from his Sebastian Kingsman assignment to going to Newburgh. Now, right as I was about to click off this video because I thought it ended, we get a jumbled YouTube URL in the top corner of the screen. Now, unfortunately, my lazy ass could not for the life of me figure out how to decipher this URL, so if you know how to solve it or what the URL is, let me know in the comments or at me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, please. Anyways, let's go back to the choice and see what happens when we don't game end ourselves. Again, this goes about as well as you expect. However, it's then heavily implied that this poor sap ended up becoming a stare. Unlucky.
Damn.
Now, much like the other option,
Must be
this
the
end
worst
screen
fate.
takes us to another video. And honestly, this next one is really juicy. So, let's move on to Claws. This tape starts off with pictures of what looks to be a notebook with artist renditions of the stare and notes about the stare. Although some of these notes are things we're already well aware of, there's some interesting and also disturbing things that are put in these notes, such as how apparently the stares can communicate with each other, or that they have varying types of stalking behavior. However, there is one part about these notes that are extra unsettling.
That
It is a
sounds like
variation of
me,
the stare,
your
which
fellow
leads us to the
stalker
reason why
bunny.
this tape is called Claws. We then see that
I know
144
everything
EMS
about all
entry
my
summary,
followers.
which was apparently also single-handedly responsible for killing nearly the entire
Goddamn,
20-man
that's
unit
blurry
sent
as
to the mall.
hell.
After some yapping, we get a freeze frame from the body cam of one of the 20 soldiers sent to the mall, which shows us what Claws looks like. And Jesus fucking Christ, that is genuinely
Oh.
so freaky looking. I know
Yeah.
this might totally be a stretch, but it almost looks like this thing is smiling. Ugh, this thing is creepy looking. After the
Is that
discovery
like
of the
its
Claws
mouth,
infected, the
or is it
military
like a
decides to
test
bomb the mall
mouth?
and also revisit previously thought to be cleared out areas, such as Newburgh. At the end of this video, we get what seems to be like part of a URL, and again, I just have no clue what to do with it. And that concludes the Green Flu tape. Not only that, but that also
Maybe it
concludes
shows
season
the
1
other
of the
half in the
series.
next
Now,
video?
hold on, that doesn't mean that concludes
It's
this video,
possible.
because I'm also going to get into what there is of season 2 so far. So, let's first recap season 1. So, it's been 6 years since the Green Flu broke out, and it turns out there's even more special infected than we previously knew of. Although, these new ones are significantly more intelligent than the infected we're familiar with. These infected being the Stare, which stalks people and attacks when they feel like it, the Whisperer, who at least for now we know nothing about, other than it's capable of speaking coherently to lure people to them, and then lastly Claws, which we know even less about, which is probably a mutated Stare. The military is trying to clear out the entire US of the infected, but are really struggling after discovering these new variants, especially after
If I
losing
had to
17
guess, it's
soldiers to
probably
one
like one of
mutated Stare. We also
those
learned that although the
zombies
protagonists of
with
Left 4
like
Dead 2
sharp
were going to be
claws or
executed after
knife
escaping New
hands.
Orleans, SETA took them under their wing and
I
gave them
forgot what that
jobs,
one
though the
infected
most notable
was
one
in
being
like
Nick, who was
Dead
reassigned from
Island.
Sebastian Kingsman to going
You
to
know,
Newburgh
like
to
the
defeat
one
the
you
Munch. But
encounter where
we're ready
it's
to move
like
on
the
to season
guy's
2 of the
arms are
series and
missing
learn
and
more about
it
the
says he's got
Sebastian
like
Kingsman. So
sharpened
let's start
bone
things off
nubs.
with the tape Burger Tank for Lunch.mp4.
Get your advertisement out of my face. Get out of here. Get out of here. No one wants to see your damn advertisement. If you ain't paying me, then get out of my way. You can only put ads
Now,
if I get
first
half
glance,
of the
this tape is a
money.
whole lot of nothing, as it's just some SETA agent talking about his Burger Tank lunch. However, this tape goes so much deeper than that. First of all, the description states that this video is created by a certain Dr. Sebastian Kingsman, who seems to be referred to in past tense. Does this mean that Dr. Kingsman is dead? Was Nick reassigned because of Dr. Kingsman dying? Or was Nick assigned to kill Dr. Kingsman because he went AWOL or became infected? Well, I guess we'll just need to find out. This tape also has a little goodie of a URL in the captions, which sends us down a big fucking rabbit hole. This URL takes us to a video titled Fairfield Whisperer Encounter 12 Update 2. So, we finally get more info on the Whisperers. Thank God, the stairs have been getting way too much spotlight. Now, first
Yeah.
off, just at the 0-second mark, we get two big
My
things.
goddamn, they're
First, we get an
stealing the
answer to my question
spotlight.
about Dr. Kingsman, who
Like,
has in fact
like
died
what
and
about
became
the
infected.
stronger
And
version
second
of
all, we
you?
get a URL to a YouTube
Let them,
channel instead
let
of
them have a
video,
little bit of
but we'll get to
spotlight.
that
Like, come
later.
on,
So,
don't be
according to this
greedy.
video, apparently not only has Dr. Kingsman become an infected, but he's also evolved into a Whisperer. Though, curiously enough, he's strangely cooperative. There isn't much else to this tape after that, although it does mention the military will be clearing out
I
Fairfield
would
next,
not
though
trust
mostly
him
they'll
if
be
he was
clearing out the Mercy
cooperative.
Hospital evac center. Anyways, let's now go to the
We've
YouTube
already
channel
seen
mechanic,
that these
which
guys are
turns out to be
smart
Dr.
enough.
Kingsman's personal YouTube channel. Now, there really isn't much to go off of with the channel alone, as the About section doesn't provide much info outside the fact that Dr. Kingsman loves nature, has a family, and loves the Midnight Riders. As of writing the script, he only has
Oh,
3
don't
videos,
worry.
and one of which was uploaded literally
I can
5 hours
fulfill the
prior to me
role
writing
once
this
you
out.
pass
So,
away.
let's quickly go over them all,
You
starting
see,
with
I don't mind
infomercial
taking your
topic.
wife
If I
away
want to be
from you.
perfectly honest, this video didn't have much noteworthy in it. It just gives some insight on who Dr.
Because
Kingsman is as
I
a
am the
person,
wife
and if I want to be
snooper.
totally honest, he is pretty damn unprofessional. I mean, geez, he's posting Windows Movie Maker videos to his personal YouTube channel about some classified infomercial. So, let's move on to the next one, titled It Mutated. Again, there really isn't much to go off of here. It mostly just reveals that he saw firsthand how the infection is changing people. Although, there's a dented door at the end of the video that is shown briefly, which is probably going to be important later. Lastly, there's Mustard. Much like the other two videos, there really isn't much to go off of here other than the fact that he's mad about mustard being on his burger while being in a fucking office building with infected in it. Now, I'm assuming that this is the same office where the first case of the green flu was reported, since the first case of the green flu was reported in an office building in Fairfield. And, well, I guess that's all the videos on Dr.
I
Kingsman's
might
YouTube channel for
react
the
to
time being.
infection
I
I
told you,
use
this seemingly nothing
eventually.
video ended up being quite the rabbit hole. Well, let's move things back
But
to the Seething YouTube
50-50.
channel
I
and check
mean,
out the
the
next
trend's
tape
already
before it.
dying.
This tape starts
I
off
don't
with a
really
brand new
feel
intro
like it,
with
but
narration from what I believe is
if
the
anyone
military
does
explaining
want to
their
see
mission
it,
to
you can
exterminate
always
the
just
infection,
comment
while there are
under it.
various shots of the
I will
infected,
not be
most
reading it
notably
because
the
I am the
stare
most
and
dyslexic
claws. After
motherfucker you
the
will
intro,
meet.
it's revealed that this tape goes over the events towards the beginning of the outbreak in Fairfield, and is also the first of 3 tapes going over the beginning stages of the outbreak. It's also revealed that these tapes will mostly be related to Dr. Kingsman. The screen then suddenly glitches out, and for a brief moment there's text on screen that says being knowledgeable is an important attribute, and who knows what we have in store, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah,
We then
no
see a
idea.
tape from the Fairfield Police Department going over a police report made by a certain Livia Harmony, where she reported that a coworker started attacking people in the office, and after attacking multiple people, this coworker was locked away in a supply
Oops, I
closet.
did
The
not
scene
mean
then
to do
switches to
that.
Sita's
Give me a sec.
investigation report, where we also see the exact same door as we did in It Mutated. So yeah, I guess that door did have some importance. It's then revealed that the lead investigator for this incident was Dr. Kingsman, who initially reports that this infection may be an unusually aggressive form of rabies. The scene then switches to body cam footage from Dr. Kingsman, where he goes into the room where the
I mean,
infected
I've
employee
had
is,
rabies.
alongside what I'm assuming is an
Well, I
officer
mean, I
from the
haven't
Fairfield
had
Police
rabies,
Department.
but I have
And when they
gotten
found the
bit by a
infected
dog
employee,
that
it
had
went about as well
rabies.
as you'd expect.
I am still pissed that the neighbor refuses to take responsibility for their animal. The little shit bit me on the leg, and I wasn't able to go outside for like 3
Following the
months
incident,
or
after some
something.
tests were done, it's revealed
I
that the
mean,
green
3
flu
weeks
is
or
actually
months.
not
I
a
honestly
form
don't
of rabies at
remember.
all. In these notes,
Pretty sure
Dr.
it got
Kingsman
worse
explains
because I
he had 3
forced myself to
concerns.
go
The
outside
first
in the
being that there's a
sun,
possibility that this
which
disease
apparently
is
makes
still
it
extremely
worse.
infective.
Just
Which,
something
as
that
we
no
already
one
know,
told
is
me
very
about
true,
when you get
which
bit.
also means that everyone in the
You
building is
apparently
infected.
can't
The
touch the
second
sun,
being that
otherwise it
everyone
would just
infected will
make
lose
the
all
wound
higher
10
critical
times
thinking,
worse.
which again, at least for the most part, is true. And the third being that this mutation has probably been found too late, which again is very true. Man, despite being super unprofessional, you gotta hand it to him. Dr. Kingsman has some amazing intuition. After explaining his concerns,
Yeah.
the tape ends. Honestly, there really isn't much to go over for this tape, as at least for the most part, this tape is mostly just world building and giving lore to Dr. Kingsman. Although we do learn that the green flu is in fact not a type of rabies at all, which I thought was pretty interesting. But let's move on to the next video, this one being staring. Notice how I said video instead of tape? That's because for the first time, we actually don't get a tape at all. In this video, we discover that Zoe, for one reason or another, has returned to the mainland. We find her sleeping in a safe room while having a nightmare about Bill sacrificing himself.
Help! Sorry.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Are you having trouble trying to keep up with your professor? You've got to try Otter. Here's how it works. Let's say I'm in class. I just
I don't care. Out of my way, you average white cracker. I don't want to hear it. I don't even go to school anymore. I graduated 2 years ago. Thank you very much.
With Nick staring at a staticky TV. Not really sure why he's doing that yet, so hopefully we'll find out later. Honestly, not a very lore-heavy episode.
Crackers. They only care about cold slop. They're white. They won't take my culture away. They won't beat me. I'm better than them. I actually pull bitches. I fucked your mom.
The creator keeps releasing new episodes, and the newest of which is a 23 freaking minute long episode to go through. So buckle in, because this is gonna be a real long one. This video starts with Dr. Kingsman sitting in an office where he recounts the incident with patient 0 of the green flu. After the new intro plays, the scene then goes to a CETA training tape, which restates a lot of known knowledge about what CETA does and how the green flu is mutated, and that they're quarantining patient 0's family and are contact tracing patient 0. The scene then switches to a Channel 5 news report covering the initial outbreak in the Annex Finance building, which again states much of what we already know, though we do see that Dr. Kingsman is giving an interview. This news report also covers some of the symptoms of the green flu, which I'm not really sure if it was known information or not, but even still, it's pretty much just flu-like symptoms. The scene then switches back to the office, where I'm assuming everyone has finally turned, based off the dead body in the final scene here. We then see what I think is the same person that narrated over the footage in the safe room and summary tapes, narrating over footage of the makeshift med bay in the office, and holy shit, there it is. There's the title of the tape. Roll credits. We then find out that this is the second tape in the Fairfield logs that cover the beginning of the outbreak in Dr. Kingsman. Also, can I just say how crazy the production quality of the series has improved? Like, at the start of the series, it was super scuffed. Like, for example, before it was removed from the channel, the original safe room tape had screen record Left 4 Dead footage for the safe room. And you could tell because for a split second you could hear the safe room music. But now we're getting these like really high quality title cards and SFM animations.
You can tell that they're really putting in some work into
After the
this.
secondary intro sequence, we then cut back to Nick watching the Stacky TV, which ends up being revealed that he's watching these CETA tapes. The tape he's currently watching is the Viral and Health Task Force Investigative Logs, log number 17. In this log, it states that the woman who filed the initial police report has been confirmed to have contracted a new variant of the green flu. This tape also reveals that Dr. Kingsman was attacked by this woman and was sent to Mercy Hospital to receive treatment for his, quote, minor injuries. It's also revealed that the infection is spreading pretty quickly throughout the entire office building. We then cut back to a public service announcement from CETA about the green flu, which restates, again, a lot of previously known information. In this PSA, we're then given a phone number to the CETA hotline, which I'm too much of a coward to try calling. However, I don't think that's a real number anyways, because I'm pretty sure phone numbers have 10 numbers instead of 9. We then switch scenes to a police report about an incident that took place inside an apartment building on September 3rd,
might do
2009,
videos of me calling, but
woman in front of an apartment door. This incident ended up causing the 6th
50 on that one. I mean, if I can get like 100 likes or 10,000, I'll record myself calling it.
Is Ricardo's mother. When she doesn't get any response from Ricardo when she's at his door, she lets herself in with the spare keys, and as expected, Ricardo was inside as an infected. Although, curiously, despite him being infected, he could still talk. Did this mean he became a whisperer? After all, whisperers
He looks like a goofy dog.
Common infected and are also capable of speech. Well, whatever he was, it doesn't really matter, because according to the police report afterwards, the responding CETA agents ended up shooting him. This police report also confirmed that this woman was indeed Ricardo's mother, and it also confirms that this is day 4 since the first reported infection. We then cut back to the informational video, which explains that Mercy Hospital will be Fairfield's only evac zone. The scene then switches again to a video from Mercy Hospital explaining that the hospital will be an official CETA center due to how CETA can't maintain any more quarantines since all the quarantines are failing because of the infected overwhelming people. This tape then showcases a case study that Dr. Kingsman performed at the hospital on an infected patient named Davidson Porter. Now, it turns out that apparently Davidson's infection was much different than any of the other reported cases of the infection. Davidson first reported typical symptoms such as headaches, a runny nose, and seizures, though there's also 2 very notable symptoms that he also has, those being stomach aches and extreme nausea. Can any of you guess what he's going to become? Well, later on, Davidson reported that his stomach pain was worsening as well as worsening nausea. Eventually, Davidson started bloating and vomiting uncontrollably.
Yep.
He became a boomer. Following his
He's
transformation,
a
he did what you'd
boomer.
expect boomers to do. Try to puke on people. Strangely enough, though, Davidson is a much more docile infected compared to the others when being observed, and only becomes hostile when he's ready to puke again, but afterwards he becomes docile again, even to non-infected. The scene then switches to a personal log from Dr. Kingsman, which is mostly just him recounting the horrors of the Annex Finance Office incident, and how unusual the virus is and how scared he is. This log does, however, seem to point out the likelihood that the infected may potentially have humanity retained somewhere inside them. The most curious part about this personal log is when Dr.
That's
Kingsman
fun.
mentions those two. But then the log cuts right as he's about to provide more information on them. Who the hell are those two? Are they infected that seem to have retained more humanity? Or are they a special infected variant? I guess we'll just have to find out another time. After ranting about how the infected are still human but also not, the scene then changes to a citywide emergency broadcast while showing the dead city of Philadelphia. The last shot we see is of an infected who almost seems like he's sobbing. After it cuts to black, we see a quick flash of what I'm assuming is a silhouette of Nick. The final scene of this episode has dialogue from a soldier explaining to his sergeant that he's finding more information on Dr. Kingsman. Also, I think it's worth noting that the background of this dialogue is a door from the Whisperer tape. Could this mean that the Whisperer that jump scared us in the Whisperer tape was Dr. Kingsman? I guess we'll have to find out another time because that's the end of the Cedar tapes for the time being. I'm really hoping in the near future we'll
I'll
get some
definitely
answers to some
do
of
a
these
part
questions I have.
2
Like,
next
holy crap,
time.
there's still so many unanswered questions. Like, a thought just occurred to me. Who the hell is that person that was narrating over the safe room?
But alright, I think I'll be heading out for now. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all being here. And with that said, I will see you next time, you adorable and cute little goofy humans. Remember, stay in the basement, or else I'll have to punish you. And with that said, bye bye, take care, love you all.